from WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Champ with Janelle Saban and Hall of Fame bowler Sue Novoitsky. My name is Paul Peck. Week number 3 here at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. We've had a really interesting first 2 weeks, but we get week 3 started with the guy who has won more on this show than anybody else. Everybody's gearing for Mike Zarcone.
Right. Well, the way it played out, it kind of looked like he was going to be our odds-on favorite, but he was pushed very hard by the bowlers that were first-timers to the show, and now different style this week. This week we have some straighter bowlers that are very, very different from Mike, so anything could happen.
Yeah, and we've got some interesting collection of bowlers. We've got a veteran guy like Jeff Dio. We've got guys that have been on the show recently, and Rob Piccoli and Rob Gatas, all trying to knock the king off the perch there of Mike Zarcone.
Well, anyway, what it's going to come down to here is really judging the lane condition and how they adjust. So you and I are going to have a lot to talk about this week.
Yes, we are. And you're going to have a lot of good high scores to keep track of.
Yeah, I mean, the scores have been great here so far. They haven't been, anything too high, but it's definitely something to watch out for.
All right, so it should be another fun week here in Niagara Falls. It's week 3 at the Rapids Bowling Center. Let's get rolling.
I'm here on Beat the Champ with our champ, Mike Zarcone. Interesting month last month, or I should say week. Interesting weeks with, some inexperienced bowlers, some first-timers to the show. And I think there's some characteristics coming up this week, little straighter players compared to your type of style of bowling. What are you thinking?
Well, obviously I'm going to have to move a little left of these guys, and we usually, when that happens, I lose a little bit of carry, but hopefully we'll carry some today.
All right, so we know what to watch for. You're going to be a little deeper on the lane, looking at maybe, are you as
20,
deep as fourth arrow?
Yeah, about 20, right.
Okay, any difference in the lanes?
Hopefully they'll be the same as close to what they were before. I was pretty comfortable, so hopefully we'll bowl good.
Just take every match as it comes, right?
That's it, one game at a time.
All right, well, good luck. We look forward to watching you.
Thank you.
Right. I'm here on Beat the Champ with Rob Piccoli, Rocket Rob. We were talking a little bit earlier about your presence on the show, being around a lot more often, and we talked about some different aspects to your game. So tell us a little bit about that.
No, I think reading ball motion, taking part in the Bull U class at Brad Angelo's has helped me read the lanes a lot better and slow down and kind of fine-tune my ranges between fast and slow.
So that's really a part of also choosing equipment, which is definitely one of the challenges that bowlers face.
Correct, yeah, and that has a lot to do with the oil aspect of the lane and where you want your ball to read properly to hit the pockets.
So knowledge is key, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
Okay,
100%.
well, use that knowledge today. Hope to see you bowl very well.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
So it's match number 1, Mike Zarcone and his 25 Beat the Champ victories against the guy we call Rocket Rob Piccoli. His 4th appearance on the show, 1 win and 3 losses, but as soon as he throws that first ball, you'll know why we call him Rocket.
Right, well, he's been working on being able to alter that ball speed to be more advantageous to him. Let the ball work a little bit. That's good.
He is one of the hardest throwers we have ever had on the show, and consistently always up there with the ball speed. And we do actually have the speed gauge on the monitors here, so we can tell you that Rob's first throw was 18.5 miles an hour.
Right, which is actually slower than what you're used to seeing him.
Now, Mike Zarcone is not going to get ticketed for any speed violations, but that is not always the key to being successful in the sport of bowling. It doesn't matter how hard you throw it, it matters where you throw it and how precise you throw it, and that's what's interesting about this matchup. Mike's got a little challenge right off the bat here, doesn't he? And for the second time in 4 matches, Mike has opened in the first frame.
Right, and that seems to be what gets the fire going.
It does. It actually, I'm not sure that he would ultimately like that to be how it would get him fired up, but it seems to work.
Yeah, I mean, and here the lanes have broken down and they're pushed a lot further inside. And but he does have the slower ball speed, which is going to force him way more inside of Rob. And if when you watch Rob bowl, you'll see he's going more on the outside of the lane, and it's a little too dry for Mike out there.
Right, so Zarcone comes back after the open with a strike. He's done that before. It doesn't matter what he did in the first frame. It's distant memory. But to our theme, you know, he's throwing at about 2 to 3 miles per hour less than what we've seen already early from Rob, and wouldn't be surprised if Rob, if he really wants to let one go, might be pushing that 20 miles an hour.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about, though, is he is learning how to match his ball speed with his bowling balls and maybe back off a little bit on the speed when he needs to. So it may just not be about firing at this point, but as he goes on in the day, you may see his ball speed go up even more.
33 years old from Kenmore, and good pin action gets Rob a strike in the second frame. Is a produce manager for Tops Friendly Markets is Rob Piccoli. Has been bowling since he was 10 years old, is a regular at a number of bowling centers around Western New York, transit lanes, airport lanes, manor lanes. He is a guy that is pretty steadily involved in the sport. You got to look at Janelle Saban and the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Early look at that as we are just underway here, week number 3 at the Rapids Bowling Center. And he blows through the pins except for the 10 pin, a little over 18 miles an hour on that throw.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that I can see what Rob was talking about as far as learning about ball motion. And, you know, once you get to a certain point in this game where your physical game is where you want it to be, then you can start increasing your knowledge. But there is a lot that goes into bowling.
This is Rob's 4th appearance on Beat the Champ, 1 win and 3 losses. Last time we saw him was not all that long ago when he lost to Mike Zarcone at the Tonawanda Bowling Center a couple of months ago.
I did hear a few rumblings about this being a rematch. These two are well aware it's a rematch.
Yes, they are. Mike knows who he's bowled for each of the last 30 years, so. And there's a nice strike.
This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV.
5th frame now for Mike Zarcone. That classic Zarcone hook and that classic Zarcone strike. Well, I mentioned that his personal best is a streak of 6 in a row that came at Grand Island in 2016. Still sort of trails our all-time record of consecutive wins by Jeremy Zimmerman of 14 set last year, and Jeremy happened to do 5 of those 14 wins here, and then also swept the whole month at Classic. And Jeremy Zimmerman has been here and hanging around during our taping. He is actually our alternate.
Right.
If missed out on grabbing the 9th spot in this week's show by just 20 pins. So Jeremy has been here, and I know he had some surgery recently, so he said he's kind of got his game back in the right direction. So we should soon be seeing him again.
Well, he was really hoping to make this show and was very disappointed to just miss it because it was started his winning streak. This is the 1-year anniversary.
Ah, that's right.
Of starting that streak.
So yeah, he won 3 here. Went to Classic, swept, won 9, and then won 2 more when the quirkiness of the schedule had us back at Rapids a month after that.
Right.
So tough break there for Rob in the 6th frame. And he'll have to try to go for the spare here. And he missed it. Seen that happen a bunch of times. Max, we've seen it happen to Mike Zarcone a couple of times, but we've seen guys struggle a little bit more than you would be used to with the 1 pin or 2 pin spares.
You know what, I think that we've seen, the misses that we have seen have also been the 10 pin. Chuck Jagodzinski missed the 10 pin. And there's a lot to do with the motion of your swing, and they're just not shooting at a lot of 10 pins. The carry here is very, very good. So you almost get away from that muscle memory of opening it up to shoot your spares.
And
Makes it a
there's
little
right back to a
challenging.
strike for Rob Piccoli. Don't forget, top qualifier in the round of 24 wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Mike Zarcone took that home for qualifying here at the Rapids Bowling Center. And of course, in 2 weeks, we will move on to Classic Lanes on Military Road in Tonawanda for another month of bowling there. And the best place for you to keep up on all of the next events, qualifying, and everything else is on the Beat the Champ Facebook page. Make sure you like the Facebook page for Beat the Champ. You'll get all your information there. Getting into the busy time of year here in Western New York, particularly in the bowling world, that leagues are already kicking in. We're bringing this show to you on Labor Day weekend, and probably later on this week is when everybody gets going
That's
again.
right. Everybody's going to start bowling this week, and there are leagues for the next 32 weeks. Everybody's going to be busy bowling.
Well, that ends a run of 6 consecutive strikes for Mike Zarcone. That after an open in the first, he had taken control of this match, and now he'll have a little bit of a challenging 2-pin spare to pull off here.
He's got a 31-pin lead in the 6th frame, pretty big lead, but you know, anytime you don't strike, you start leaving the opening for the other person to come back and strike at you.
Got
Great
them both.
spare. That's no easy feat, that sleeper pin back there. You have to hit
Nope.
it right head on.
It seems to me, and maybe it's just not as obvious as it's been, but it always seemed to me that when we've had Rob on the show before, like, if you didn't know his nickname was the Rocket, you knew just because of like every part of his body went into throwing the ball down lanes, which is how he gets such big speed. It seems as though his approach is a little different now. You know, that looks nice and easy. He just throws the ball hard no matter what.
No, I absolutely
Something a little
agree with you.
different. I mean, that for as nice and easy as that looked, that was 18.5 miles an hour.
It does come naturally to him, doesn't it? I mean, it's actually a nice ball speed. It gives you a little bit of area because you get to open up that area to your left, and it seems very natural to him. Like you said, he's not throwing himself off balance or anything like that.
Not a crazy big
No.
backswing that we've seen from some of the other power pitchers, to use a baseball analogy.
True. And this game seems to be going very, very quickly. Both these guys are just, you know, right there ready to bowl, and lots of strikes, and we're already into the 9th frame. And Rob really
Janelle's
has to
going to
strike.
get carpal tunnel there from writing so fast up there on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Oh, finally got that 10-pin to fall. Pins are dancing down there at the end of the lanes here at the Rapids Bowling Center. Or, as in the case of the one from before, doing the electric slide.
Right. Couple marks here for Mike. We'll finish this match off for him, but he still, you know, needs to show up these 2 frames.
Maybe he's inspired by seeing Jeremy Zimmerman here, and leave it to Mike to figure out the one thing that he hasn't accomplished yet on the show is having the longest winning streak. Wouldn't be shocked if he's putting his mind to that.
Okay, so he needs a spare.
25 wins, just 17 losses in the 25 appearances from Mike Zarcone. Both of the appearance numbers and the wins numbers more than anyone else in our 2.5 years of the show. And you know, just when you think things are all good, going good, hello, 7-10 split.
Wow.
You're shocked. I think we caught the tail end of your facial expression on there.
Wow. It just never gets old. I mean, you can't count on anything. It was a good shot, put the ball right in the pocket. And he is going to give Rob a chance to get up there and win this match.
So it's a 225 score for Mike Zarcone. So what does Rob Piccoli need in the 10th frame here to win this?
He needs to strike out for 226.
Gotcha.
So what looked like a sure thing is now up to Rob to finish this off. Double 9 will be a tie. 3 in a row will be a win. And
There's the first
one.
strike. So, boy, like you said, just when you think you know what's going to happen, welcome to the sport of bowling.
Wow.
So another one here necessary for Rob Piccoli.
Absolutely. He's got such a nice shot.
That last shot just a tick under 19 miles per hour. So he's got
under pressure,
all the
he
rocket
amps it up a
fuel.
little bit.
He's got all the rocket fuel working right now. And that will tell the story of a good attempt that will come up short. That's just the way this goes sometimes. So it winds up a 225 to 214 win. 4 in a row now for Mike Zarcone. We've got 2 more to come on this show. We'll get you ready for those when Sue and I return to the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls right after this. Well, that was an interesting match, particularly for you, Rob. It looked at one point as it headed down the stretch that you were out of it, and then Mike goes open in the 10th, and now you're back in it, and then you got your chance, and it didn't go the way you wanted it to.
No, I had my opportunity. It just felt I got a little slow on that second ball in the 10th, and just came in through the head pin.
You know, again, putting the pressure on a great bowler like Mike Zarcone is kind of your goal in all this. Did you feel like you did as well as you could have in that?
Yeah, definitely. I felt I threw all good shots, and so happy that.
Happy that you got to the
Okay,
point that
so-
you're at, and again, you know, bowling against a guy like
Sure.
Mike, you got to be perfect. Patrick, what do you got for him?
Well, it looks like that right lane's getting a little bit tough, so I can't wait to see what the rest of today has in store. But Rob, thank you so much for coming out,
Thank you, appreciate it.
and hopefully we'll see you again real soon. All right?
Normally it's the bowlers that complain about the lane conditions here. We've even got the managers complaining about it. Right, so, all right, Mike Zarcone going now for a 5th win in a row. That match coming up next on Beat the Champ.
I'm here at Beat the Champ with Jeff Dio. Jeff, the field's kind of interesting this week. We've got Mike Zarcone, and then we've got, you know, a couple straighter players. Do you look at the matches and try to, like, kind of look ahead to see what's going to happen?
Yeah, a little bit. I know Mike likes to hook the ball a little more, and, you know, me and Rob throw more straight, so we'll see what happens, and let's kind of go from there.
You've been making the shows in the summertime. You know, people aren't in mid-season form. What do you attribute that to?
I bowl a lot over the summer, a lot of sports shot leagues and tournaments and stuff, so it kind of helps keep me sharp.
I would say that's absolutely the way to stay sharp. Let's see some good bowling out of you today, and good luck.
Thank you.
Match number 2, and the latest to challenge Mike Zarcone is Jeff Dio, making his 6th appearance here on Beat the Champ. 3 wins and 5 losses is the overall record. Last time we saw Jeff was a couple of months ago at Manor 2 Lanes. He has been a pretty steady performer here on Beat the Champ, and we are here in his hometown of Niagara Falls. So we'll see if Jeff's got the home lane advantage for the guy trying to end Mike Zarcone's 4-match winning streak. And he leaves himself some work to do in the first frame.
Wait a minute, that's Mike's normal
I was going to say, you're right.
Trying to use his strategy against him.
Maybe he's seen how Mike is, you know, I might as well screw up the first frame because good things happen after that.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Jeff this year. He bowled with us here on Fridays, and he's one of our top performers. So he should be able to read these pretty
He's got
well.
an interesting, very short approach.
Yeah, that didn't go the way he wanted it to.
You know,
But
he uses very little of the lane.
right. But as we've seen, lack of success in the first frame isn't always a detriment. The voice you heard before belongs to Patrick Donovan. He is the manager here at the Rapids Bowling Center. He'll join us for this match because we are at that time of the year, Labor Day weekend, where you're about to get very busy.
It's going to get very busy come Tuesday, yes, sir. We're all geared up. We're all ready to go. Our staff is definitely raring to, they're chomping at the bit, so to speak. So I can't wait to let them loose and have some fun this year.
So many things happen this week. It's the start of the school year for a lot of teachers and students, kids all in Western New York. It's the football season getting ready to get going here, and the bowling season as well too. Fall is here, summer is over, and lots of things in normal life go back to the routine here.
All that free time out the window.
Oh, you work pretty hard at finding enough free time for the things you want to do. So Mike Zarcone bucking the trend there of a good first frame, and then not bucking the trend by having an even better second frame. So already in a little bit of a hole is Jeff Dio after that open in frame number 1. So Tuesday gets the leagues going. What's fun, interesting here at the Rapids Bowling Center this year, Patrick?
We have a Tuesday is our full night of leagues. We have a doubles league. We have a men's league. One league we're really trying to get going this year. Sundays we have a adult youth league. It's kind of something new we're trying this year. It's $10 per week. It's only 15 weeks. So it's a short season league, so we're trying to just do it in the fall. Starts actually September 9th, so I believe that's a week from tomorrow.
Correct.
And then we will be it's just 2-person teams. So if you have a family of 4, that's 2 teams right there. Nice and easy. Get you going. It's handicap, and it's
good chance mom and dad,
exactly.
dad and son, dad and daughter, mom and son, mom and daughter.
Any
Great
combination.
opportunity.
What time of the day is that?
It's going to be Saturdays at 1.
1 p.m.
So it will be during football season, but we'll have the games on, no problem. So if you're looking for something a little bit different to do on your Sunday afternoons, then come on out and see us, and we'll have a good time.
All right, so we are ready to get going. Bowling leagues all around Western New York getting started. And there's a Mike Zarcone strike 2 in a row. So Jeff Dio has hit 2 in a row to balance out that first frame open. And meanwhile, Mike is back in strike mode here. 26-17, the overall record for Mike Zarcone here on Beat the Champ. There's 26 wins, more than anyone else on the show. Matter of fact, it's 11 more than anyone else on the show. And he is now making his 25th show appearance.
Great shot. Wow.
And, and as we talked about a little bit with last week's show, there's an intimidation factor of Mike Zarcone. You're bowling against Mike Zarcone, there's very little margin for error. You know that there's not likely a whole lot of things you can mess up if you want to have a chance to win.
Well, Mike's been very unassuming today. He's been just really going about his business, didn't let the bad shots he threw get to him, and pretty much just keeping himself in a good spot and letting his opponents sort of, dictate for themselves where the match goes. Just like we've got right here.
Yeah.
A little tough going through the nose, leaving a split.
Yeah, boy, I got way too right there, I think, didn't he?
It's that right lane. It's been slowly breaking down faster and faster. So I think it's going to be tough going for
Jeff's
the next match.
Trying to avoid a second open. Oh, nice
shot.
spare pickup.
This looks like a good time to take a break. We'll be back with more Beat the Champ right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. That's another thing with the different styles of bowlers that we've seen today, and I should use this opportunity to say we haven't seen any left-handers at all. There's been no left-handers that have made the cut here, and I don't know if you can answer to that a little bit, but
I think
What are you doing on the left side of those lanes there, Patrick?
Me personally, I didn't do anything, but I don't think we had a lot of lefty participation this event actually. So that was a little surprising. But I know a lot of the heavy hitters a lot of the lefty heavy hitters didn't come out and didn't participate this time. So I don't know if they were intimidated by Rapids or if they just had something better going on these couple weeks. So.
Historically, how do the left-handers perform here?
I think the lefties actually perform better than the righties typically.
Yeah.
But
I always kind of thought this was a fine house for left-handers.
I'm not a righty bias by any means, but
Anyways, for the particular style that Jeff might have and Rob might have with that more ball speed, sometimes that they like to stay in the dry, but sometimes it can be too dry even for them. There's times that the ball speed does not.
That doesn't look like it's actually getting through.
Right.
Getting through the oil and
the time of day that they hit these lanes can be actually a disadvantage to them because
Yes.
now they've actually become so dry in the spot they like to play that they're actually forced out of their comfort zone and inside a little bit. And I think that's only going to be to Mike's advantage because the deeper Mike has to get, the more comfortable he is.
Yep, exactly.
4-pin for the spare. So Mike has bookended a pair of spares with 3 strikes to start the first 5 frames out, and has already built himself a solid lead here over Jeff Dio as you look at the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, and Janelle Sabin keeping you up to date on all the scores. So
Plus,
Mike will slide over to lane 29.
Plus 25 pins.
It was another absolutely
And a few more after
pure
that.
shot on that one too.
Mike
Really good today.
Zarcone is 50 years old from Tonawanda. We've talked so much about his achievements, an Obenauer Masters Championship in the Buffalo Bowling Hall of Fame, and numerous titles and championships all over the East Coast, along with Western New York, and an amazing 300 career 300 games.
That is amazing.
I believe didn't the 300th come in qualifying for one of our shows not that long ago?
At Alley Brand, I believe.
And
Yeah, I think you hit it right there, Sue.
Yep.
He tried a different ball and just
Tried to move
way
in.
too much friction. Still too much friction, even for the ball speed.
Right, and he's actually getting out of that zone that he wants to be in, and is trying to get into second arrow, and now try to compensate with bowling balls. And in a one-game match, when your opponent's lined up, it's too tough.
4-6 split. Jeff will get the 6, but not the 4. So that's a second open in this match for Jeff Dio. Jeff is 32 years old, from right here in Niagara Falls, employed as a die cutter at Ashton Potter, longtime bowler, healthy 217 average, bowls regularly at Island Lanes, Brad Angelo Lanes, Manor 2, here at Rapids. It's if Beat the Champ hangs out there, then Jeff Dio is usually there bowling.
Still kind of bit up on him, but very
Yeah,
nice
I mean,
shot
it was a good shot. He got the break, but it's still, is definitely, the friction is overcoming the ball right now.
So now as Mike Zarcone starts frame number 7, just got to be steady and solid and maintain the lead that he has.
He's just getting longer and longer and longer.
He knows he's like in his happy place right now.
So true. It's so true.
How was the summer for you? I know it's a chance for guys in the industry to take a little break and rejuvenate yourself. Did you were you able to do that?
I got my little break at the beginning of the summer. Did some traveling, and now I'm been back for a few weeks now. So we've been getting after the phones, getting after the emails, bothering people left and right every day, trying to get them in here. So
I know you don't like to think about it too soon because it means the end of summer, but you really got to get people in gear early in August to.
Yeah, that's when we start hitting it. We start hitting it right at the beginning of August, and then we go through till now. I'll still continue on for the next couple weeks, even if we have some openings here and there. We'll keep trying to find fills for them. So, and it's never too late to join. That's the one thing that I think a lot of people have this misconception of, is that it's never too late to join a league. We can always get you caught up, and we can always get you in.
You've got your adult junior there starting on that Sunday, the 9th. Are you going to do two squads of that? Are you going to start it again in the winter and have another winter version of that?
We very well might. Yep, we very well might in January. Try to get it again there, and we have a couple other fun family type leagues coming up. We've done a Zoo Bowl in the past. We've talked about doing a partnership with Fantasy Island, getting a season pass with them, which would be fun. So lots of interesting things on deck for us.
Maybe you need to get the guys from the Wild West show over here for to bowl in costume a little bit. That might be kind of fun.
we could definitely
do that for our 4th show. Wild West Shootout.
That would be interesting.
Take all kinds
for sure,
of
absolutely.
So Jeff Dio plugging away here, but will not ultimately be successful, as Mike Zarcone and his run of strikes has clinched another win for Zarcone, his 5th consecutive victory. So he'll look for the weekly sweep in our next match. We'll come back. We'll talk to Jeff. Get you ready for that match. It's Beat the Champ in Niagara Falls. We're back right after this. 260 to 190, the final score as Mike Zarcone defeats Jeff Dio. You said you've been doing the math in your head. You think the bowlers that you have gone against on the show are averaging about 250?
Yeah, it seems that way. A lot of big scores thrown against me, and I haven't bowled good enough, but maybe next time.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do even when you do bowl well. If you got guys putting up scores like that, it puts a lot of pressure on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. You got to throw a lot of strikes, and I just didn't throw many strikes.
Right. All right. Well, Jeff has been a pretty good regular on this show, and somewhere along the line, someone's going to throw a 180 on you. We hope so.
That'd be nice.
Not here, because we don't want Patrick to feel bad about that. Right.
Well, I wouldn't feel bad about it for Jeff. I know Jeff's a competitor, and he always bounces back, so I know he'll be back again soon.
All right. Well, make him feel a little better.
There's that for you, sir.
Thanks, Pat.
Always good to seeing you.
All right. Well, it's good to have Jeff Dio on the show, and the guy that we have on the show who will continue looking for 6 in a row, it's Mike Zarcone. Next match coming up on Beat the Champ.
I'm here on Beat the Champ with Rob Gatas. Saw you for the first time last month. You know, we were very shocked to see that you didn't bowl any leagues, and yet came out and had this great success. Here you are again. What do you attribute all this to?
Just, it's always been natural to me, always, so.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it, because we've got different things going on. Like, we've got Mike Zarcone, who bowls all the time, and, you know, just has a whole lot of experience behind him. And we're talking to Rob, who's done some bowl U classes, ball motion, stuff like that. For you, is it generally like a feel?
Yeah, a lot of feel, but like I said, it's always been natural. I've tried to keep the game simple, so by keeping it simple, it just makes it easy for me to come out and throw big games.
Well, it's no easy feat to make it 2 times in a row, and that's an attribute to you. So good luck today, and I hope to see some more good bowling out of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Well, the next guy who's going to try to knock off the win streak of Mike Zarcone is that gentleman, Rob Gatas. We're seeing Rob for the 2nd consecutive month. He was part of that long winning streak of Jason Siliberto last month at Alley Brant Lane. So Rob would prefer not to be the guy part of a winning streak for Mike Zarcone this month.
Right. That's absolutely true. But Mike's on a roll. He's gonna be tough to beat.
This is Rob's 2nd appearance, obviously, 2nd in a row, looking for his first win. And of course, Mike Zarcone now with 27 overall wins on Beat the Champ and a 5-match winning streak. That is what is on the line. But we can tell you that we came to our very last match a month ago with Siliberto having won 7 in a row, and he lost that last match to Jeff Holfelder. So just last month, there was a little bit of history about a win streak coming to an end in the final match. So Rob would certainly love to be the guy to do it this time. And of course, the winner of this match is going to get a week off, and then they're going to advance on to next month's action at Classic Lanes.
Right. And that's all, again, we talk about it all the time, but that's definitely the challenge for the incoming champ is a new condition, a new house, and you know, really having to get that momentum started up again. I mean, he's riding a wave of momentum. He's seen the lanes break down. He kind of has an idea of how they've been breaking down. As long as he keeps his focus and his energy up, they're okay. Just got to make sure that you don't get a letdown in here, and Mike seems to be, you know, not missing a beat.
Well, at least in the case of Mike, he's pretty much bowled games at every bowling center in Western New York, so there isn't any place he wouldn't be familiar with.
Right. The nice thing for Mike here too is that they've broken down, the lanes have broken down into a spot on the lane that he just loves to play. So right now he is just in such a comfort zone. When he goes back to the next time, he's going back to a clean, fresh lane condition. He has to start this, breaking him down for himself all over again.
So we've got strikes across the board here just underway in this match number 3 from the Rapids Bowling Center. Let's see if Rob Gatas can keep pace, and that's not the way to keep pace.
No, and we've seen that so far a lot, which was going to be the challenge. We talked about in the beginning of the show that the challenge was going to be the players' styles versus the breakdown of the lane condition, and all the players today were straighter with the exception of Mike, and they're all in that zone that's become, you know, very problematic from a hooking standpoint, and everything's got to be a little deeper, and these guys like to play out.
Yeah, so Rob trying to do whatever he could with a very difficult split actually gets no pins. So it winds up being an open frame with just 6 pins, and that is difficult to do early, middle, late in the match when you're going up against Mike Zarcone. So now, let's see how Rob reacts back in frame 3.
Right, now on a strike, that's double the pins. So it's always important to get count, especially when you're on a strike, because instead of losing 2, he lost 4, because it counts the 2 for both aspects of the frame count with the strike.
And he does exactly what he wanted to do, which is come right back with a strike. So good to see Rob shake off a difficult shot like that. Mike Zarcone through this winning streak, which has reached 5 matches in a row, averaging 243.
Wow.
That's a wow.
Impressive. 243 with opens. It wasn't just
yes,
strike
he's had opens in 3 of the 5 matches.
He's been tested. He's gotten caught up in transition. You know, he just it was the day in the life of a bowler for Mike Zarcone today.
Yeah, and you said something interesting in the last match. You just kind of said we're all living in his world right now here. You know, this is the perfect. This is Mike. He's relaxed. He's calm. He's bowling well. You know, he's just, you know, here I am. Come get me, and that's what makes him so great. He will probably tell you a shot like that is not what makes him so great.
No, this is like we saw him with that pocket 710 at a terrible time in the 10th frame. So he can hit the pocket and leave, unfortunately, difficult spares. This is not a bad shot. This is a shot that of the ball just moving. The ball was working. Oh, that's the way to make it too.
Yeah. Is it really not to hit it that hard, or?
Yeah, it was a little light, but I mean he got it over there, and it was pretty close to taking it out.
Just needed a little more oomph on that 4-pin, and he didn't get it. So once again, now Zarcone with an open, which has not stopped him. I mean, he's had, like we said, now 4 of the 6 matches have had one for him. And once again, Rob not liking what's happening there.
Still in that spot.
Yep, just kind of lost the momentum as it made its way down the lanes and leaves him a difficult second shot.
Well, he's got to get away from that hook over there. He has no choice. He's going to have to move everything in about 5 boards. That spot is out of play.
26 years old from the town of Tonawanda, an assistant manager at Dash's Markets is Rob Gatas. And unfortunately, that's going to be a second open in the last 3 frames.
The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
There's Janelle Saban on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, showing you where this match is already positively on the side of Mike Zarcone as he looks to finish off a 2-week sweep.
Ball's starting to come up a little high for him. He's going to have to make a move.
I feel like in this match we're seeing things happening or not happening for the first time.
Always the risk when you have to move in is the risk of losing your carry. So I don't think that's going to happen with Mike, but I think he's got to make a little bit of a move.
Well, again, right now with a 50-plus pin lead, you can kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit, can't you? And I know it's dangerous. I know you've scolded me about that before, but you know, you have to kind of understand your situation as well too.
How many times in sports have you seen teams play up and down to their level of competition?
A lot.
And I'm not saying that, you know, Rob isn't perfectly capable of giving him a tough match, but at this point, the score's low, and it's almost making that letdown come for Mike because he doesn't have to push himself as hard.
Yep. Next stop for Beat the Champ in 2 weeks is going to be Classic Lanes in Tonawanda, and of course, top qualifier every month here on the show. Wins television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Mike Zarcone was our TV winner here at Rapids Bowling Center.
Now he posts a double. We'll see how Mike comes back in response to that.
Lined up a bit to the left, I noticed that time for Mike, but there's your result. Right back at it with a strike.
Another trip 4. He's starting to talk to himself. They are starting to break down hard and fast for him.
Yeah. It's usually trouble for the opponent is when Mike is starting to talk to himself. Still a very sizable lead for Mike Zarcone as he hits the 8th frame. A win in this match for Mike will tie his personal best of 6 wins in a row.
Wow. Well, there's a little interesting because he moved in, caught a whole bunch of oil, and ball came up light. So it did change his ball reaction by having to move in to where he needs to get to. Great spare.
Spare in the 8th frame for Mike Zarcone. And now Rob working on the double. Will try to keep knocking him down and putting the pressure on Mike. Next week's show is a senior showdown from here at the Rapids Bowling Center. We're going to have a lot of fun with, they had a nice group of qualifiers. We've got some familiar names in our senior showdown. That'll be next week's show, our always exciting and interesting and fun 4th show of the run of a month stay at each bowling center that we're at. And then we'll pick up the regular action in 2 weeks at Classic Lanes. Spare in the 8th for Rob Gatas. Forgot to mention to Patrick Donovan when we had him on the show that how great this place looks. It just one of the nicest bowling centers in Western New York. Just clean and bright, and they do a really nice job making this such an inviting place to come and hang out. The restaurant is nice, lots of room, and a good setup here on Niagara Falls Boulevard here at Rapids Bowling Center.
It's true, the lighting here is great. It is very bright. And
I think you can notice that at home sometimes we have to compensate with additional lights to make up for some of the bowling centers are a little bit dark.
Great shot.
I particularly like the Pablo Picasso bowling art there at the end of the lane.
It is. You don't see that one very, very often. A lot of the mask units you'll see in other centers. This one is pretty original. I think that yellow too brings out the brightness in the place.
So a good place to come hang out if you're going to make a little trip up to one of the 7 wonders of the world, and I don't mean the outlet mall, I mean Niagara Falls. If you're going to make a little trip up here to either one of those particular places, come on down here and bring the family and bowl a little bit and hang out in the restaurant and come to one of the nicest bowling centers in all of Western New York. Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard tells us that we are headed towards a Mike Zarcone victory, and it's going to be his 6th consecutive win. As he continues to knock pins down. What a roll Mike Zarcone is on. What another strong finish for him. I think that's the one thing we've noticed. He is incredibly strong as a finisher.
Yep.
When he's being challenged or when he's not being challenged. So Mike Zarcone will put on a 225, which is enough to get him a victory. 6 in a row and a 2-week sweep for Mike Zarcone, and he will be the one advancing in 2 weeks to Classic Lanes. Our winningest Beat the Champ bowler continues to win. It's Mike with a victory. We'll come back and wrap up this match. Get you ready for next week when Sue and I return to the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. You're watching Beat the Champ. Mike Zarcone keeps rolling on. His 6th consecutive win comes at the expense of you, Mr. Rob Gatas. The opens in the first 5 frames kind of put you in a pretty good hole, didn't they?
Yeah, I just made a few little mistakes that I ended up paying for with the splits. So It's all right.
Lane conditions, you know, as we get late through the competition here, did those start to be a little trickier?
The 2 lanes were definitely a little different, but I mean, I knew where to throw the ball. I just got slow when I threw the splits, so my own fault.
You could have blamed Patrick if you really wanted to.
No, that's all right.
I'm pretty used to it, but Rob, pleasure seeing you out here. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. That's for you.
All right, Sue, the red hot bowler in town.
I kind of said while we were bowling that you were in your happy place, so you're getting deep on the lane where you like to play. Is that right?
Yeah, it's where I'm comfortable playing, but they did get a little tricky. They started to hook more than I thought, but we adjusted and we did good.
So now off to a new house in new, fresh condition.
Yep, the old classic lanes.
All right, well, good luck. We look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, and that's where Mike will take his 6-match winning streak in 2 weeks to Classic Lanes. Sue and I will come back and wrap up our last 3 weeks here at the Rapids Bowling Center and get you ready for a really fun next week's show when Beat the Champ continues right after this. Well, we're still called Beat the Champ, but we may have to rename this the Mike Zarcone Show, not only for the way he's bowled in 2.5 years, but the way he's bowling right now. 6 wins in a row with an average over 240.
Yep, this place really suited him very well, and we talked about, you know, him getting really comfortable. He faced all kinds of competition and came out on top. So it was really a great month for him.
Something I keep thinking of that you just said a little while ago, he's in his happy place, which is all is perfect whenever Mike Zarcone's hanging around any bowling center's lanes, particularly these.
Yep, it really played out perfectly for him, and it was just one of those weeks where the conditions didn't favor the bowlers he was bowling against, and he just got into a spot where he was at his most comfortable. And, you know, he's going to have to start that process all over again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks in Classic Lanes when Mike will put that winning streak on the line. Of course, next week here on the show, we're going to have a little fun with our senior shootout. You will have to fight the urge to not write the Z for Zarcone on the Castellone scoreboard.
I know, but, you know, we got a lot of great guys coming in next week, so we got a lot going on with them.
Yes, we do. So it's our senior shootout next week. Stick around for that. 2 weeks, we're back to the competition. We hope to see you then on Beat the Champ.